Ghost, Past Lives, and Premonitions meets Philosophy of Science, Part 2. I hope this passes for entertainment because it's what I do for fun. Okay, people like stories, right? I'm going to tell you about a couple of dreams that I've had and relate them to tapping into past and premonition as supported by the concepts I proposed in Part 1. I've always been a vivid dreamer, and there's a certain amount of randomness with dreams, but sometimes I have dreams that feel extremely solid. They feel more like a memory than a dream, whereas other dreams feel like an odd hallucination or like I'm watching a bunch of jumbled up pieces of movies I've seen before. I'm going to tell you about a dream I had when I was about 8 to 10 years old. This particular dream could possibly be reliving an experience of an expression of a life form that lived in the past. The memory of this dream has stuck with me my entire life. I'm now 36. Where the memory of the dream begins, I was aware that it was the past because I was driving a stagecoach which was pulled by 6 horses. I remember that it was a dark night in the fall, but there was still enough moonlight to see by. But I could not see very well, so the horses and I were traveling a bit slowly. I'm also fairly certain that I was in New Hampshire because I remember the foliage, and the fact that there were no leaves on the trees suggested it was the fall. It was one of the only reasons I was able to see at all. Suddenly the horses got spooked and began to bolt. There was no stopping them. As we increased in speed, I felt the adrenaline, and I remember the thought crossing my mind of a potential predator. I remember thinking that we were traveling at a dangerous speed, and that we were in serious trouble feeling was plaguing my mind. Then the horses took a corner and the stagecoach overturned, throwing me off. I was violently halted by a sturdy bough of a maple tree, which caught me at my midsection. I was injured and the wind knocked out of me. I plummeted from the branch, doing a half a flip before landing on my stomach, furthering my injuries. The wind being knocked out of me to an even worse degree. Because I was experiencing this dream as a memory, I already knew what was coming. I was too injured to move quickly enough. Even though I tried, I braced for the impact, tightly closed my eyes while gritting my teeth in anticipation for the predator's pounce that I knew was coming. As soon as the claws entered my back, right below my shoulder blades, I woke up in excruciating pain. Take a breath. At the time that I had this dream, I was living in a very old part of New Hampshire. The house we were living in was over 200 years old. We must also note that there was a lot of granite in this area. If you know anything about ghost hunters and different phenomena of this sort, you'll know that old places with lots of granite rock is a hot spot for paranormal activity. Granite, which is crushing crystals and thereby releasing energy. Again, many paranormal activities are reported to occur in similar environments. Combining those energies with magnetic fields, then perhaps the brain echo is trapped by the magnetic fields and fed a charge from the granite and crystals within. Then all that's left is a brain of a certain phenotype expression that is capable of tapping into the radio waves of the dead, if you can entertain such a concept. There's a phenomenon that is well known enough all over the world that young children claim to have memories of a life form that once lived. They lose this ability with age. A young child's mind is more of a blank slate, and therefore more brain matter is available to receive this type of information. We fill our brains with experiences and neural configurations are formed as we grow older, thereby limiting our ability to tap into these radio waves of the dead. Obviously, it's possible that some people specialize a part of their brain for this particular purpose, and we call them a psychic medium. Is anyone else's hair standing up on end right now? Are we tapping into any of that ghost story from our childhood nostalgia? Now I'm going to tell you about a dream I had when I was 17 that could possibly have been a mild premonition. In my dream, I was standing in a very particular place in a town I used to live in on a small dirt cross street that connected a back highway with another paved back road. I had a particular odd feeling and blood was pouring out of my face everywhere. There were several people around that were all very concerned, and then I woke up. 2 or 3 weeks later, I was crossing that back highway in my Chevy Nova when I was T-boned by a large pickup truck. I did a Mexican jumping bean effect inside of the car, and as a product of this, I flew out of the driver's seat. Then my head went through the front passenger side window, moving in a downward angle, crushing glass into my face before colliding with the door and being bounced back into the driver's seat. I didn't get knocked out, and I just got out of the car, and then I walked around to the other side to observe the damage. I was in shock, and I had no idea of the injury, and I had not yet started to bleed profusely. But by the time I got to the other side of the car, I was bleeding out of my face uncontrollably. I then got that odd feeling, which was a slight worry, but mostly shock. The driver of the truck, as well as people who were in a close-by yard, ran over with concerned looks. I could not help but remember the dream that I had several weeks before the accident and the uncanny similarities. These are some of the experiences I've had that made me question the nature of reality and stimulated me to always be searching for rational answers. In this case, I see a possibility that not only do we leave a trail of quantum information being imprinted on the fabric of our reality, but it's also possible our minds are processing some sort of echolocation in the ocean of matter and energy that we call the universe. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. Perhaps the complex cause and effect has a ripple effect, like throwing rocks in the pond. Perhaps every now and then one of these ripples is somehow bounced back in our direction, and the subconscious mind translates the echo of the returning ripple. In a way, this is kind of a scary concept to consider. At least it scares me because of all the apocalyptic dreams I've had. Don't panic. These two instances are not the only occurrences that I can bring to mind, but I choose the two most prevalent that I had. I'm not sure how much value any of these concepts actually have, but I'm still open to the possibilities that I've suggested. Again, this is nothing more than possibilities and concepts, not even a theory. This is just for fun. For now. It's in a philosophy of science type realm, but I feel it is nipping at the fringes of becoming a more solid theory. I'm currently attempting to contact college professors in my area, different backgrounds, in order to run some of these ideas by them and see what they say. As more information comes in, this concept will likely change, or my hope is that it will increase in probabilistic value from supporting evidence. At any rate, I'll make a video to update any discoveries or developments that I find in the future. If we're lucky, I'll get to talk to some scientists who will agree to be filmed, and then I'll upload those interviews. Another reminder is that this is merely a skeletal structure of a concept, a work in progress, and really just a bit of brain porn. My hope was that this entertained you all while stimulating your minds and making the educational material more valuable, as well as easier to remember. If any of you viewers out there crapped your pants on this crap yourself roller coaster, I'm sorry, but I cannot be held liable for any damage to anybody's undergarments. I recommend in the future that you wear some Depends adult diapers, or perhaps just watch my videos while you're on the crapper. If you enjoy what I'm doing, and you enjoy higher quality productions, help me keep this project afloat by donating to my Patreon. I'll put the link below. Subscribe, thumb up, and share this video with whomever you deem brave enough to approach the subject matter. Thank you all tremendously for joining the Thought Revolution, and remember, stay rational, most importantly, solace in science. Alright, thanks for watching. Have a good one, everybody.